Hey guys, it's Diabetic Girl. Welcome back to my channel. I figured that since today is such a nice day out, I would try to get the rest of the natural lighting to come in so that I didn't have to try to do like a big lighting setup. Okay, anyways, today is a video that might help some of you and it might not help some of you. I had planned to film this video back when everything happened and just, again, was trying to not be all over every which way and every social media, but I finally decided that I'm going to talk about it, and again, I'm like not excited about it, but I think it'll be helpful, so might as well just get right into it. So today I want to talk about birth control and diabetes. I know how unfun that sounds. I really promise that I do. But it is a really important thing to be discussing. For those of you who didn't know, I went on my first birth control pill about probably a little over 2 years ago now, and the first pill I took actually made me insulin resistant. And fun fact is that most birth controls will, and it's either in the little booklet that you get like when you first open it, and if it's not in there you can very easily Google the side effects of your birth control. That is how I found out about it. And like I said, like it was just a terrible time. I guess, so I'll tell you my story and then we can kind of go from there, and then I have just a couple of things at the end of the video I want to talk about. So for starters, like I said, I started taking my birth control about 2 years ago now. And my first big mistake was that I went to my primary care physician and not my endocrinologist or my diabetes doctor, because I figured that my primary care physician would be the right person to prescribe me the birth control. So so since this story, I've been on 3 different birth controls. Yay. So this happened and I was prescribed birth control, and I was really excited because, for those of you who probably didn't want to know, but you're going to know anyways, my periods were kind of like disgusting, and they involved a lot of heavy cramping for a really long time, like so ridiculous that I couldn't get out of bed for the first like 3 days of my period. Actually, fun fact, I still can't get out of bed for the first day of my period, but that's a side effect. So I had talked to my doctor about birth control. My doctor had explained I can get an IUD, I could wear a patch, or I could get the pill. So my big thing was that this was like a big adult decision. I was 20 at the time, and I was taking my healthcare into my own hands, so I said I want to take the pill. So the first week that I was on the pill, like during my period, and like I should mention that my blood sugars aren't always the best on my period, so I didn't really think anything of it until like the end of the week, when I was looking back at like my pump does a daily totals kind of thing, and it shows you how much insulin you're taking, how many carbs you're intaking, all of that stuff. So I was looking at that and I was like, wait a minute, I've been taking like over 50 units a day, usually within the first half of the day that I'm awake. What's going on? Like, my blood sugar has been out of control this week, but I figured that it was just, you know, my period, because that's just how my blood sugars are. You know, I take the extra insulin, I deal with it, but it was never this bad. Like, I was in the 500s almost all day. I changed my site. I never was told I had ketones or anything when I checked for blood ketones on my meter, but I was like, okay, this is a little strange, but maybe it's just because it's that time of the month. So then it was like that Saturday, the Saturday of your first active pill week, if you will. And I was just really confused. Like, I've obviously felt like crap all the time because of this. And I was like, okay, all right, well, we'll figure this out. And so sure enough, I was curious and I Googled my birth control pill. And the first thing it said is that diabetics should be closely monitored when taking this pill. And like, my big thing was, well, why didn't my PCP tell me this? You know, when she's prescribing me something, shouldn't there be a conversation that goes on about what I need to be doing to make sure I am in my best health while I'm taking this? All that. So I was like really upset. And then the other side effect was glucose intolerance, So basically for this entire week I would be high, and if I ever went low it was impossible to bring myself back up. And it was the most frustrating thing ever. So I very, very clearly remember it. For those of you who have been with this channel forever, I was still at Stop and Shop at the time when this happened. And I remember going to my shift and my blood sugars were just like low for a solid 4 hours. I would like, the amount of food I intaked in that day was a little stupid. And then I think I started my shift off at like 75, and then I slowly climbed. When I say slowly, I mean like for an hour I was 80 and like nothing moved, and it was just really frustrating and I didn't know what to do. And of course, like the kicker to all of this is that of course my PCP is on vacation when all of this happens, so I can't even get a hold of her. So that was splendid, splendid. So I got through that day, obviously, figured everything out, stopped being on the pill, I mean, obviously. And then it was a matter of talking to my diabetes doctors about what pill that I should be using, what they thought I should be using. And I did some research before I did this video because I was curious if it was just this one pill, because I have had really great luck with the other 2 pills that I've taken for birth control over the last couple of years, and I haven't had like an insulin resistance issue. So I was like, I wonder if it's just this pill or what. And according to one article I read, and I'll link all the articles below. I mean, I only read one, but I'll link it down below for you guys so you guys can check it out as well. According to the article I read, which I can't think of off the top of my head, and of course my phone is like all the way over there so I can't even pull it up. Apparently all birth controls can cause insulin resistance. So like it really is a game of finding what works best for you and what works best for your diabetes. So like I said, don't make it a really like light little talk with your PCP if you can. If you guys have a good relationship with your endo, like I used to email my endo all the time before she retired. So like if you guys have that kind of relationship with your endo, make sure you're talking to them and also getting their advice, because if you don't, you're gonna end up like me, and that's not something you want. Like I said, I immediately was prescribed a different birth control the next time I went to my doctor's office, and that worked just fine, and I didn't have any real issues with it. Why did I change? I changed because, fun little fact for you guys, like let me just be the open book you need, is that my thyroid was really low for a long time, and so my birth control actually would not, like my body wouldn't take it, if you will. So my period was very irregular and it was a mess. So I think I finally have it all settled now with my birth control, which I've been on for about a year at this point. So yeah, make sure you're talking to your endo. And the thing that a lot of people said was like, you know, why weren't you checking more frequently? And I was checking, but it was just, when you don't know, you don't know. So my suggestion for you guys is, if you are trying to figure out your birth control, do your research first. Keep a logbook going if you have to. Just basic things to sort of see what's going on and where and when things might be affecting you. It's actually pretty helpful. I keep a logbook for the most part, and I like doing that. It keeps me very in control of what's going on, and it works. So that is what I'm going to suggest you guys. So remember, always talk to your endocrinologist or your diabetes specialized doctor before making big decisions like that, because as much as we might love our PCPs, they may not always have the correct answers. And keep things logged and just stay on top of absolutely everything you can while you can. And I guess that's it for today. This is a rather short video, but my question for you guys is, do you want like a diabetes DIY next week where I show you? Because I actually set up my logbook myself. So do you guys want to see something like that next week, or even maybe this weekend? Let me know what you guys want to see down in the comments. I'm probably going to do like a cooking video at some point in time this weekend too. And maybe we can start like a Google Drive kind of thing so you can steal recipes if you want them. Totally up to you. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.